the governor's proposed budget cuts that affect libraries in the state of New Jersey. A lot of these facts you already know, okay? I tried to make the printout of the PowerPoint for you in advance so that you'll be able to follow along and make any notes that you want. Is everybody having everybody hearing me okay in the back? Okay. So I'm going to move through this as quickly as possible. If you have any questions, let me move through the PowerPoint. If you have questions, just go ahead and give them to me at the end. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. So the governor's proposed budget includes several lines that are scheduled to be eliminated, and these affect libraries in a very big way. Pat Tumulty of the New Jersey Library Association, the executive director, mentioned that these are the most catastrophic budget cuts that affect libraries in the history of libraries in New Jersey. The four lines that we see up here are Network Aid, Per Capita State Aid, New Jersey Knowledge Initiative, and Virtual Aid, and 3 out of 4 of those lines are scheduled to be eliminated. That is, cut to the point of not existing anymore. Many important services that the State Library offers to libraries throughout New Jersey are scheduled to be cut as a result of this activity. You'll see what we're trying to do on the state library level and the NJLA level here in a second in an upcoming slide. Go ahead, James. So what do libraries lose as a result of these individual line cuts? Interlibrary loan and delivery, as you know, is scheduled to cease as of Jersey, like with Jersey Cat, which is the important ILL device that we offer at the State Library to be able to do that statewide. Many electronic information resources and otherwise, including Jersey Clicks and those offered by NJKI, as they appear here on the slide, are also scheduled to be eliminated because of these cuts. What else do libraries lose? James, do you guys use Jersey Connect here? So, as you may know, Jersey Connect provides you with your internet connectivity for your library as well as your email access and other important things. Unfortunately, as of because of the budget cuts, that's scheduled to go down also. That not until though 2012 because of state maintenance of effort funding that has been in place there to be able to let it live for another couple of years. Per capita state aid has already been diminished over the years, and 50% of that is scheduled to be cut out of the state's budget for libraries, effective with this newest check.
For us, that would be about $23,000.
Also, summer reading program materials, not for this summer, but for proceeding through next summer, starting in September when those materials are put together and start to be delivered. And the regional library cooperatives, as they exist right now, or as they existed before May 1st, are funded through those lines that are scheduled to be cut. So the state librarian indicated that she would take 4 of them and conform them into one, and I'll talk about that in a second specifically. Federal aid is also lost. Just briefly, what this says is that in order to accept additional grants federally, okay, you need to have funding in place for your organization. If the state library is going to lose funding, then it would not be able to accept grants from LSTA and other sources because that initial funding isn't in place. Now, the state library worked very hard to work on what's called the Broadband Technologies Opportunity Project grant, and pulled in many partners to make that grant application possible. If the granting agency indicated that the state library would be able to receive some $7.5 million in broadband technology grants, we would not be able to accept that money because of the fact that these budget cuts are scheduled to take place. Right. Briefly, per capita state aid, I mentioned that that had been kind of slowly cut down before, but 50% of it is scheduled to go away. The other 50%, I'm not sure why this is so on the governor's timetable, is scheduled to not be controlled by the state library anymore, but to be controlled by the Department of Community Affairs. And the state librarian officially opposes this move because of the fact that it would be more labor intensive to get your per capita state aid. DCA doesn't have the software in place to be able to, the grant software in place to be able to handle this at this point. They will more than likely not be able to produce it in a data format compatible with LSTA, and for other reasons. Also, because of the schedule cuts due to the governor's budget, the New Jersey Talking Book and Braille Center, as you may know, formerly known as the Library for the Blind and Handicapped, is scheduled to close on June 30th, 2012, without maintenance of effort funding in the 2011 budget. This will be an extreme detriment to many of our disabled patrons around the state, including those who are sight impaired, as well as hearing impaired and with other disabilities. They use the library heavily, and many of our customers who have used this library have been with state library and NJSL representatives on legislative visits to the legislators that will eventually be voting for on whether to accept the budget or not. As you may also have heard, a part of the governor's proposal is to conglomerate the New Jersey State Library, Thomas Edison State College, which is already the state library's umbrella organization, and the New Jersey State Museum under the aegis of Rutgers University. It is unknown at this point how the state library will transform due to this proposal. The state library opposes this. This bill, A2555, is separate from the budget lines in the governor's budget. It is a separate bill that's been proposed simultaneously, and this threatens the funding of municipal libraries around the state. Right now, municipal libraries are funded at what's called 1/3 mill funding levels, where the municipal library gets a strict percentage of the equalized valuation locally, and that is mandated, okay? That's required by law. The governor proposes, this bill proposes that municipalities be given the opportunity to fund their municipal libraries at a level deemed necessary for the proper maintenance of the library. Now, lots of municipal libraries have had their funding jeopardized due to the situation. Okay, this is an extremely dangerous bill, and in the legislative visits around the state with state library representatives and our constituents and our customers, we have been letting the legislators know how detrimental this will be to municipal libraries in the state. The state librarian, as of May 1st, indicated that due to the proposed budget cuts, core services would be continued not through the 4 regional library cooperatives, but through one region, InfoLink. And the remaining carry forward, would be used to continue those core services as long as possible for libraries around the state. So the choice is either to close all 4 regional library cooperatives and cease the function, or try to continue those core services, which you see up there are interlibrary loan delivery and databases, for as long as is now still continually possible with that extra money. It's a logical move on the state librarian's part. InfoLink was chosen because of its proximity to North and Central Jersey areas. The state librarian will be making further decisions